Back to our top focus this morning. A woman and her 5-year-old child have succumbed to injuries that they sustained in yesterday's violence outside Rampal Satlok Ashram. The duo had been admitted to the Agroha Medical College yesterday. The police's 10 a.m. deadline has also ended. The police had asked all supporters to evacuate the premises, following which they would be starting their operation on day 2. Yesterday we saw violent clashes where more than 100 people were injured, including media and security personnel. Let's get a word from Aviral, who's with us on the phone line. Aviral, take us through the developments on the ground. The 10 a.m. deadline has already expired now, and the situation more tense considering that 2 people have lost their lives.
Absolutely, Simi. It remains to be seen how the police will react, because they had set a 10 o'clock deadline for the crackdown to begin to get Rampal out of the ashram. However, with this news coming in, it depends on what action they will take next. At about 12 o'clock, we can expect the DG as the Home Secretary of Haryana to update the media on the situation of just what they are going to do next. But this news really coming in as quite a big setback for the administration that is trying their level best to avoid injuries and to avoid casualties and get the controversial godman out of his ashram. Just yesterday, there were as many as 30,000 cops right outside the ashram, and we've seen the kind of scenes that took place with many of the supporters really attacking the police. The local administration really is trying to get the situation under control. We can expect them to lay out what their course of action is going to be at about 12 o'clock when they address the media. They'd launched a massive assault on the Satlok ashram to arrest him. Residents of Barwala in Hisar district, where the ashram is located, woke up to one of the most shocking, really pitched battles almost that was fought outside with the supporters and the police.
Aviral, stay on with us. We're also being joined by Ankit Tyagi, who's been getting us ground reports from there. Ankit, the 10 a.m. deadline has now ended. The situation must be tense considering that news of these 2 casualties will obviously reach people who are there as well. Has the police started its operation on the ground?
Not yet. In fact, as soon as the report of these casualties reached, the entire the atmosphere has gone extremely tense.
Well, we seem to be facing some trouble on that line with Ankit. We're going to try and reconnect with him. Ankit is outside the Satlok ashram, where we saw that we saw clashes yesterday where more than 100 people were injured. Massive security presence today as well. I believe we can now go back to Ankit. Ankit, take us through what's happening on the ground.
Well, as of now, the operations have not started. In fact, the police has only surrounded the ashram and they are sticking outside the ashram. There is palpable tension here and the situation is volatile. Thousands of policemen have in fact again surrounded this Satlok ashram. The problem right now is that there are still people inside. I can in fact right now just see position being fortified by the supporters of Rampal. All of them are again on the rooftops, again on on wherever they can find place. We spoke to a few of the spokespersons from Rampal's core team, and all they said was that as of now, there is all those who are inside are the hardened supporters. They are ready to die, come what may. They would not let Rampal be arrested. But very significantly, Simi, there is still uncertainty about.
Well, we're going to try and reconnect with Ankit. Ankit reporting on how there's some sort of uncertainty about whether or not Rampal is actually inside his ashram. His supporters claim he's not there, and they're also appealing to the police to not crack down. But the police claims that its sources are informing it that Rampal is still present inside the ashram. Overnight, over 10,000 people were evacuated. In fact, the police had set a 10 a.m. deadline asking people to vacate the premises. That deadline has now already ended, but police action hasn't started as yet. Let's get a word from Pankaj Upadhyay, who's with us on the phone line. Pankaj, take us through developments on the ground.
See, the problem with the police and the paramilitary force is that they need to tread with caution. For the fact remains, women and children are still being used as human shields inside the ashram. Secondly, the determined followers of the controversial godmen are at a very strategic locations, and they have forcefully put many disciples inside, and that is causing a lot of problems for the police right now. So the big question right now is how long before this controversial godman relents. What we are also learning that yes, a 10 a.m. deadline is given, but police is now chalking out new policy of getting inside, because they have clearly stated, unless, of course, the Baba himself comes out, because reports say that he is holed up inside. The police say the option of going inside and getting hold of the Baba are always open to them. But till now, as I said, because of the fact that women and children are being used as human shields and that many determined followers are in a strategic location, this is causing the biggest problem for the police and the paramilitary forces. Even right now, the entire ashram wears a war zone. Look, there are hundreds of followers all around. Yesterday, as we all know, around 4 p.m. abruptly, the entire operation had come to a halt because of the simple reason that police and paramilitary forces realized that the entire array of LPG gas cylinders were around, and it was believed that in a fit of rage, perhaps these determined followers would ignite these LPG cylinders, and that would have caused a lot of problems. So we really need to wait and see what the next move of the police and paramilitary force here is really going to be.
The police are also treading cautiously, Pankaj, because apart from the fact that women and children are reportedly being used as human shields, the police also believes that those inside may be heavily armed.
Absolutely. As I said, not just that, they are in a very strategic location. Plus, the entire configuration has been done in a very planned fashion. As the disciples call them the commandos, they could be very heavily armed. And many of the disciples that came out had clearly said, that they were being forced to stay inside, and it was believed that many of the determined followers could really be having lethal weaponry as well. Now, this makes the police very jittery for the simple reason, as I again repeat, that women and children are being used as human shields. So what is the next master plan that police and paramilitary force is going to come out now? That really remains to be seen.
And Pankaj, what's the kind of deployment that you're seeing outside the ashram today?
As far as this is a joint operation being carried out by the police and the paramilitary forces, and let me also state that while 10,000 followers and disciples had come out, an equal number are still believed to be inside. So it is a very, very crucial operation. The best thing that the police is right now is that they would expect that the controversial godman himself relents and comes out, because otherwise there's going to be a perhaps anticipated loss to the human lives as well. But then right now they are treading with question. But for how long? But really, that is the question. For how long will the 63-year-old controversial godman take to come out and give himself to the police?
Right, and there's also politics over these clashes. Pankaj, we heard from former Chief Minister Bhupinder Singh Hooda a short while back saying law and order is a responsibility of the new BJP government in the state, also saying that this particular government enjoys a certain kind of political patronage, which is why the police was slow to take action.
Simi, yesterday the most unfortunate part was that they had come to arrest the controversial godman, but ended up clobbering the journalists who were covering the entire event. But then let us also understand that the High Court had said that it was lack of political will on part of the state government, that they had not been able to arrest the controversial godman all this while, and that was a huge shocker for the state government. And at this point of time, the BJP government would not want to take any chances. They would want to clear this operation as soon as possible, because politics has, as you rightly said, now started over the entire operation. It was a fantabulous opportunity for Mr. Hooda as well, who came out not just saying that it was wrong on part of the police to have attacked the journalists, but also said, the state government should have taken adequate actions against the controversial government, and that it has been a very, very long time now that he is to be arrested. So politics is really going to start over this matter. But as I said, right now the entire focus remains on the police action, which is treading with a lot of caution, because of the simple reason, as I maintain, that women and children are being used as human shields. But let us wait and watch what is the master plan before the police and the paramilitary forces.
Right, the police and security forces strategizing their next move. Pankaj, thanks so much for that update. We're going to keep coming back to you for more. A short break here. Lots more lined up on First Up. Do stay with us.